Hello and welcome to another episode of Public Eye with me, Ryan Bramley. In the third and final part of our interview with Stevie and Morley from Tight 10, Stevie has some important and interesting tips for how we can help ourselves and others to stay mentally well during these unprecedented times. I hope you enjoy it. On the kind of micro level, as individuals, is there any advice that you would give, whether it's somebody who's struggling or somebody somebody else who's struggling, or just basically to keep our mental and emotional well-being and physical well-being as well at a point where we don't come into these issues?
Yeah. So, on a first note basis, drink water. Now, what this does to the body, obviously, is it keeps us oxygenated as well. It keeps everything flowing. A lot of times we get fed up, we get tired, we get headaches, we feel fed up, we're grumpy, is because we're dehydrated, which has a massive impact on your mental health anyway, and about your emotions. So, first and foremost, it's a very simple thing. It costs very little. Drink water. Have some time for yourself through the day, no matter how big or little. Download a bit of mindfulness. I listen to a guy called Michael Seeley, My Life's Purpose, or Understanding Life's Purpose, sorry. Just have that time for yourself. Get a lava lamp, get an Himalayan salt lamp, get some essential oils. If you need any help with that, inbox Tate 10, because I can give you lots of different sort of synergies and remedies. Other than that, if you know that you're feeling a little bit low, talk to somebody. Don't be ashamed. Every single day when people phone me up, I think, oh, they're going to phone me up. They're not going to get a phone for 10 minutes. Because tell them about how I feel and go, right, I'm all right now. Tell them. If you're happy, tell somebody you're happy. If you're frustrated, tell them you're frustrated. But if you're feeling low and like you are feeling really low, tell them. The instant you start to think, actually, I don't feel good, phone somebody up, tell them. If you don't want to phone your family and friends, message Take 10 and tell us. Even if you don't want to have a conversation, you just need to say something, just message somebody. For those who support people with mental health, just check in on somebody, because we lie to you. We lie. We'll tell you everything's okay, because it's easier to say I'm absolutely fine than it is to say, well, no, I'm struggling today. Because then somebody will say, what can we do to help you? And you're like, oh no, now I'm a burden. And that's not the case. That's not the case. We know that, and deep down, we all know that we're not a burden. When we've come out of that timepiece, that state of mind, we're so grateful that that person's reached out. So it works both ways. Make yourself open for someone to talk to you, and then also reach out to them people that are opening up and saying, look, I'm here for you. And, don't pass it off and think that you're a burden, because the only burden you're going to be is when you're not here and they can't phone you anymore. Then you've left a burden yourself. Then, we need to look after each other, and it's hard. You men, I love you all to pieces. Well, I don't love every man to pieces, but I love you to pieces. But my friends, I've sat and I've watched so many of my male friends sort of not make it. And I think to myself now, I look back and I think, what could I have done differently? And the only thing that I could have done differently is when they've cried, I've held people when they've cried. I've held my friends when they've cried. The only thing that I've done differently is not encourage them to go and talk to another male. Males have emotions. There's nothing more attractive in the world, and I don't mean in a weird sense, but there's nothing better, shall I say, than having a man be able to open up and show his emotions, whether that be the fact that they're running around in the garden wafting flags, whatever they want to do you know what I mean? However they want to show their emotions, whether they want to go and cuddle a tree. If you want to go and cuddle a tree, I'll come tree hugging with anybody. I love it. Get a free hug t-shirt, have free hugs all day long. It's great, but just go out there, guys, and show your emotions, and don't be afraid, and I know we've got this big up like men's campaigns and stuff, but I don't think it needs to be taken away at all from men that you've struggled with, I don't know, you know, like life beforehand, where men had to be 6 foot tall, big, muscular men that didn't give a monkeys about life, you know. There's no more nicer than seeing a man with a rabbit, is there? Do you know what I mean? That's what I say to him. There's no more nicer than more nicer. There's nothing nicer than looking at a man with a little rabbit in his hand. And why? Because we've got that masculinity crossed with a femininity. And why does it have to be like that? If you're a man and you've got emotions, use them. We've stepped over a big mark now. We've got Andy's Man Club that do an amazing job, like for the males, and it's absolutely fantastic. We've got Luke's lads. You know, we've got a lot of different setups for males to go to, and it's great. Do you know what I mean? Use them, guys. Don't be ashamed. And I know that they're in mass as well. Do you know? There's talking heads. There's so many different ones now. But you have to continue to use them, and you have to continue to support each other. But on the flip side of it, ladies are struggling at the minute. It's changed as this is COVID has changed. We've got so many single mums struggling at the minute. They're stuck at home, kids to look after, house to run, can't go shopping. You can't take more than one member of your family shopping with you. Like, okay, what do we do with other 2 kids? It's having a massive impact on female mental health. So if you are a male out there and you are struggling and you want to speak to somebody, there's lots of female women out there that need help and support. And if you need to feel like you need to be doing something, phone take 10 up, we'll take you out with us. You know, I'm short on male sort of support workers or males to come on board with us that can come out into the community. It's my group at the minute is a very female group. And we need more people to be able to sort of go out into the community to work with the males. We've got groups of males that need to know they can go and give people a cuddle. You know, if you lads want to come down to the football field when we have another meeting and, you know, all grasp at arms and have a cuddle. There's no better feeling. I know we've got 2 metre rule and stuff, but do you know what I mean? At the right time.
Yeah, at the right time. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And also, you've heard it here first, people. You know, if you're a guy and you want to be more attractive, have a little cry.
Have a cry.
Be a little bit of a cry.
No, it's manly. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
You've got to always, in life, take a positive from every negative that's put in your path. And that can be for people that have lived through trauma bases, different traumas. You know, what I say to people about trauma is don't ever look at your trauma and put it against somebody else's, because what they're even if you had the same trauma, that experience it's different. You know, it impacts you both different. So don't ever demoralize your own trauma and say, well, mine wasn't as bad as that person's, or it's insufficient, because it's not. It's your trauma. Carry it, own it, and find a way through it, and turn them negatives somehow, make them into a positive. Write it down, write the trauma down, you know, address it. It happened. But I'm just writing a piece of work now, which you might find really interesting later on, and it's called How Our Mind is Deceitful, How Our Memory Creates Problems. And it's just basically about the insufficient memories that we store but when a trauma happens or when something happens, and how we store it and act upon that later, which causes the anxiety as an adult. It's really interesting. I'm quite interested in it myself, and I'm writing it. I'm like, wow, actually, when I'm researching into stuff, I'm like, yeah, actually, mine's trickery, you know. And I think that's what we've got to remember when we're going through a crisis, when we're going through anxiety. Your memory creates what it wants to create. So you've got your brain, so it goes into lots of different things, but basically your memory's triggered by one part of your brain triggers another part of your brain. I'm not going to go into 2 diverse things at the minute, but it's all in there, you know, and it all connects together and it creates what you create, and it's your memory that creates it. So my big thing at the minute is changing times and dates of specific things in my life that have happened. I'm a time and dater, and some of the negative things that have happened in my life need to be replaced now by positive things. So this weekend, I'm going to go to Ravenscarn. I'm going to go watch the seals on a day that would be normally quite a trigger for me. So I'm going to make it a positive turning point, so that hopefully that mindset now changes. So the trigger, when it triggers next time, is going to be an happy trigger, not a poor trigger.
I'm a massive, I'll be honest with you, that's something, somebody told me that once and it kind of blew my mind. And it's something that I don't even think about it, I routinely do it now.
Yeah.
There have been a series of dates that have come up,
Yeah.
recently for me. And again, and some to come as well, and I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really lovely note to end on, and I'm really looking forward. You are right. I would be interested in having a read of that as well once you're done with
Good
that
stuff.
too. Two small final things before we go. If anybody does want to inbox you, if they need any support or help or anything like that, how can they find you?
So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, website. Get in contact with us. Email us, you can inbox us, you can PM us, DM us, whatever all these different things are. Just send us a message and someone will reply.
Fantastic. And the last thing, if anybody's watching this who would be interested in potentially volunteering with you, working for you, or even doing a fundraiser for you, can they contact through the same channels?
Yeah, of course can. All the same channels. Anybody that wants, if there's anybody out there that really wants to help us with some funding, please do, because at the minute we're a very, very small team. And money's dwindling, and we need to continue to have somewhere to run. We need to continue to run both our youth groups, because it's a provision that's not out there. We just need as much help and support from public as possible. And if you have used us in any way, shape or form, or you know of us and you'd like to leave any comments for us on Facebook or anything like that, please do, because and I know it's hard because it's not confidential when you're posting it on there, but it really makes a difference when people are looking for support, because if they see the goodness that it's done some people, then they're more likely to reach out.
Stevie, thank you ever so much for today.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Reach out, guys.